What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Rainnite Gaming. I'm Rainnite, and it's time for my first place Gren Maju deck. I've had a bunch of tops, top 4, top 2, and finally with this build, took it home in a really pretty decent sized online tournament. And I love this deck so much. I've been playing it for probably over a year now, tweaking it, trying to make just as good as it can get. And this thing just destroys people. It basically says, make your board, I'm going to crush it when it's on my turn. Because I don't play a lot of hand traps, I mostly just play a lot of board breaking cards and things that can just win games for me. So let's get into it. This is my Gren Maju and the Crazy Eights. So of course, we've got Gren Maju. This is of course the namesake of the deck. He gets huge really quick for all the banished cards on your side of the field. He's a great card. I only play 2 because you don't want to kind of brick on him. If you don't have the banishers you need and you have him, he's just a rank 0. So this one's really good, and he's just great card. Love him. Goes along with him here is my only other normal summon. I play the 1 Plague Spreader Zombie. This can come in and out of the graveyard. Gets us into our synchro package, so we've got a couple of the new synchros that really up the damage value of this deck. So really good card, really fun to play. Then we play an abbreviated danger package. We only play 4 dangers. We play the Bigfoot and the Big Bird. We play 4 of them. So I've taken out 2 of these because I have a new spicy card that I like to play that I'll show a little later. These are really good cards, but they're also really bad cards. I like to say you live by the dangers, you die by the dangers. By playing less of them, I'm using them more for their effects and less of their summon a lot of the times now. So not getting their summon isn't as big of a deal. So great cards. If this guy gets sent to the graveyard, he takes out a face-up card. This guy takes out a face-down. So good cards, but I like to not run the full 6 as I used to. Then probably my favorite card in the entire deck, and I really need to upgrade this common, is your Gizmecha-Rochi. A Gizmecha-Rochi, it lets you go in and out of the graveyard. You get your banishes out there. You banish your 8, or you banish 3, and you take out a card. Just an amazing card, and really fuels this deck, and lets you survive sometimes if you need to go that extra turn. And then probably the most deadly thing in this deck are my kaijus. So I run the 3 Wind Kaiju, because Flunder is still out there. And then I run 2 Doggerons. He's the 3000 dinosaur one. He's really good, and he's really good because they have low defense counts, which is really good for our spider combo that we'll see later. And then, of course, we've got the 1 turtle. You'll always love to give people a turtle, but he's probably my least favorite one because he has the 3000 booty, so he can't get rid of through your pain gainer effect. But awesome cards, and just giving people a kaiju can really ruin their day, and just really helps break boards, especially in conjunction with 3 of my alpha, the Supreme Beast or Master of Beasts. He's really cool because you give people a kaiju, you put him out, you bounce him back to your hand, you bounce the kaiju back to your hand, you can put out another kaiju. Just as long as you have less attack than your opponent. And one of the new spicy cards that I took out the dangers for, we've got Schwarzschild, Limit Dragon. This one I didn't know existed until recently when one of my subscribers get me onto him. He's just a free summon as long as your opponent has a 2000 attack monster, and he's a rank at a level 8. So that's a free summon. He's kind of like a danger without the randomness. So if you're just looking for that free summon, he's your boy. If you've kaiju'd him, you can get him out. Works out great. You can even get him out and get him out because kaijus have more attack than he does. So works perfect. Then we get into my hand traps. I only run 1 actual hand trap, Dimension Shifter. I mean, if you can run it because it ruins people's days. I think Flunders is one of the few decks that can run with Dimension Shifter on board. Other than that, people are going to put out very substandard boards. And one of my suggestions when you're running this card, don't shotgun it on their first move. Wait until they get a monster on the field most of the time, because if they don't have anything on board, they can do Psy-Frame and then just ruin your day. So if they've already got a monster on board, they'll be stuck with that frame in their hand. So tip right there for running that. Then we play kind of another hand trap, but it's not, and it works good going first too. We play this 3 Super Poly. Super Poly is fantastic against tier limits, and it's kind of a necessity right now in the meta. And you know, we fill up a good amount of spots in our extra deck with targets for this. There is one more. I don't have the bird yet, the new Super Poly target. That would be one of the few changes to the deck. I would add that. Then we are still playing 2 trade-in, just, you know, adding some more searchers to our deck. And then we're also playing, of course, Pot of Desires. I actually put in the trade-ins and some other cards, and I took out the Golden Castle of Strongbergs. I found myself bricking on Hexatrunades too much, so I went ahead and took it out, and it's been working pretty good. You don't get that pop from Hexatrunade, but it's not too bad. But these are great. You get 2, you just have to discard 1. This one, you just banish 10 to get 2, and it's, you know, works out perfect. One of my new favorite combos of cards here, I play the 1 Mind Control and the 1 Change of Heart. So you have 2 mind controls. So if you give them a kaiju, you can give yourself that kaiju and then kaiju them again. You know, or vice versa, all kinds of stuff. Another really tricky thing, if you give them a kaiju, give yourself a kaiju, and then mind control that kaiju that they had is destroyed. So you can clear a board that way. It's really handy. Speaking of kaijus, we do play the 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, of course, is just gross. If they don't have an Omni Negate up or an Ash Blossom, and they put up a big board, boom, you get to destroy their whole board. Or if they have 1 Omni Negate, because a lot of things will only have 1 Omni Negate, you put out a kaiju, then you just kaiju their whole board. Just really great card. Another card that can just end games right away, Concentrating Currents. All it does is doubles, it gives your attack equal to your defense. So if you've got, you know, 4,000 Gren Maju, he becomes 8,000. Also, if your Gren Maju is, you know, sitting at 8,000 and you hit him with this, and you're going to hit him with this, and they, you know, silence your Gren Maju, which would take him down to 0. You hit him with this, it doubles it, and then when he gets silenced, it just goes back to whatever this would have added. So you can still hit for game. One necessity, I always put the Monster Reborn, just because we play a lot of 8s that we could discard. This will bring them out of the graveyard, let you go right into your rank 8s. More 1-ofs, Foolish Burial. This works great with your Gizmek. It also works great for your Plague Spreader. And then these are my 2 anti-Mystic Mine cards. We play the in-deck Harpy's Feather Duster. It's a great card, gets rid of all the back row. And this is a cool one I found on another video. Play the 1 Dark Hole. You know, if you've set up a board and they go ahead and hit up your board with a Mystic Mine, just wipe out the whole board and pass turn. So it gets rid of that Mystic Mine. It can sometimes stall out their plays and let you win the game. So that is the main deck. And I'll tell you, this thing's gross. It puts out tons of damage, wipes boards, and lets you win games super quick. The extra deck, we use our extra deck a lot. That's why I don't play the Eater of Millions, because this is a super tight extra deck, and there's only a couple cards I could switch in and out. So first up, we go into our Synchro package. We have Xinjiang, I don't know how to say it. He's basically Gren Maju that they gave a suit of armor to and a sword and said, go get him, Tiger, because he gets boosted by all banished cards, and he has protection, and he can banish cards. Just a great card that is amazing. And I finally did a bunch of trades, spent the money, and got the Baron. He's easily the most expensive card in my entire deck. In fact, he may be more expensive than the entire deck. He's an Omni Negate. He's really good, and if you have the right cards, a lot of times going first, if you have Plague Spreader, you can get both of these out on the field going first or going second, and it can just be game over from there because it's just, you know, 2 powerhouse cards. And then we've got our Super Poly targets. We first got Winda. Winda is basically in case you get Winda locked, you can Winda lock them back. This would probably be the card I would take out for the new bird card for Super Poly, so just know that that's when you could switch out. General good card to have, Mud Dragon. And then of course you've got to play the Puraplant one because there's so many fusions out there, and they're all the darks, so you play the Starving Venom. You could also play the Dragon one that you use 3 dark monsters. That's one you could sub in there if you wanted to. Number 86, getting into our Xyz package. I play this basically just in case we lose the roll and have to go first. This is really good because you can lock out graveyards. So great card going first and can really, stall out that game to get to your next turn if you are forced to go first. Then we get into kind of our most used package. We've got our Dingirsu. So we go right into the Dingirsu, we get to pop a card, and then we'd overlay into Pain Gainer. Pain Gainer will let you pop any and all monsters on the field that are under 2200 defense. So he can wipe out almost entire boards. Then we've got number 77. This is a fantastic card because one, it hits for 4K. And then obviously you would go into your Zeus package then. And I play 2 Zeuses just in case you would hit in and then Zeus them twice on their turn. If they're still alive, you can hit them again. And if they're still alive, overlay for another Zeus. But if you are going against the branded and you destroy their Mirror Jade, don't go into the AA Zeus, stay in your 77, because 77 on the turn that it's not summoned, you can't use these effects on the turn that it's summoned. So when you go in and on standby on your opponent's turn, when the Mirror Jade effect would wipe your board, his effect would activate, and you get to detach a card to save him from being destroyed. And then if he's got a ton of cards, so whenever he gets targeted for being destroyed, take a card off, take a card off. He's really hard to get rid of. Plus, he's a huge little boy there. So just a little advice there when you're playing against those brandeds. And then kind of, the go-to play for OTKs, you've got the 97, 100, 38. This is your 9,000 combo where you go into 97, you summon out 100 with 38 underneath of him, detach, and you can hit for 9,000. And a lot of times we can actually go into multiple Xyz in our turn, so it's not uncommon to actually hit for 20,000. So that is something that happens. Well, that is the deck, folks. It's gross and it wins games. If you guys are interested in seeing more games with this deck, let me know and I'll try to get some recorded. Didn't get any recorded because I was just concentrating on trying to win the matches. But this thing is really fun, super consistent. Basically we just play all cards we want to see. There's so very few bricks. The worst thing that's going to happen is going against a deck that is all back row, or a deck that just doesn't summon out any monsters, because we really thrive off our opponent making a board. So that's really cool. On decks that want to make boards, this deck just wins out on. So thanks for watching, everybody. And if you like these videos, you want to see more deck profiles, let me know, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!